talking about internal and external signals, right? And so before we jump into the episode, let me share what I'm sipping on. And so I'm sipping on one of my favorite smoothies that I make. It's an almond chai spiced high protein smoothie, right? That's a mouthful, but I don't really know what else to call it. It's just my favorite, and it really I just like it. It's just one of my favorite things to drink, and it's high in protein, so it's a great meal replacement for me. And one of the things that I like, it kind of has like a chocolatey flavor profile, and though it has no chocolate in it, and it's also sweetened with dates, which has become one of my favorite sweeteners is just dates. And so talking about signals, and I'm really talking about the internal and external signals that you have been having, that you've had, that's really helped you to navigate yourself throughout your life, right? And so funny thing happened to me. So I've been doing a lot of business to business, right? Well, not a lot, but I've been wanting to do a lot of business to business, right? And so I had an opportunity to work with a business, and it was really funny what ended up happening. So and it helped me to really understand how I want to move forward in working with a business, right? So before I get into that story, let me just share something about, just the growing pains of running my business, right? So it's almost been 10 years that we've been in business. And so in those 10 years, I've learned so much about business, right? Now, here's the thing. And one of the things that I tell people, as I'm having conversations about starting a business or being in business or whatever the thing about business. And the thing is that your business, I believe this with my whole heart. My husband told me this in the very beginning, but he told me your business is going to tell you where it needs to go, right? And so over the years, I've realized more and more that my business is really just another child that I have. The difference is that I get to really dictate to this child where I want it to go, but at the same time, not so much, because the customers will tell me where where I need to go in order to meet them where they are. And so a few years ago, when I was just getting started, I had a customer who, for a lack of better word, she wore me out, right? She wore me out, right? We were doing I wasn't charging enough to deal with all that she had been, requesting and needing from me. Now, I didn't know it at the time of me having to deal with, but after dealing with her a few times, I realized, yeah, this is too much. And so that was a signal for me. Now, I didn't know what to do at the time, but after, doing some research and just kind of like having conversations with other people, they told me, you ain't charging enough. Like, but even without her complaining, it was just like, Trey, you're not charging enough. This is a really good product. You shouldn't be charging that amount for that kind of product. And so, in the beginning, it was just like, well, I just want people to know that they can afford it, and I want it to be affordable and all the things. And it was affordable, but then when I did my numbers, I wasn't making no money, right? If I was a business, then the business wasn't making any money. I was literally just making it to take that money and pour it right into the next order or whatever the case may be, with no profit at all. So now I'm super frustrated. I'm like, wanting to not do the business anymore, and really the way to fix it was to increase my prices. And so in increasing my prices at that time, it really did change the type of customers that I was dealing with, right? But it also taught me that I needed to incorporate different things like processes and procedures, so that a lot of those questions that she was asking, or a lot of the nuances that weren't quite yet in my business, could be created. And so what I learned that I needed to do was not just increase my prices, but I had to set it up so that the customizing could be a lot easier, right? Because at the time I didn't quite have a menu. Like, I did have a few drinks that you could choose from, but if you wanted to put radishes in a drink, or have a radish juice only with some other stuff in it. There was no place for that. And so I had to create a way to allow you to customize it even more. But then that's a premium point. So I had to add more money to that, because I don't use radishes in any other drinks. At the time I wasn't making salads to put radishes in that salad. You know what I mean? So it was just like different things that I had to learn in that instance because of that customer, which was a phenomenal learning tool. And, learning from her what I needed to do, even though I was frustrated, right? But then also I created a way to have consultations, right? But there's a fee to consultation, right? Because some people, I realized at the time, and I think this is something that as a business owner you forget, because you're so immersed in this business, you forget there are people who don't know anything about your business, right? Even now, there are people who know nothing about adding juices and smoothies into their way of life. And it's foreign to me sometimes that there are people like that. But I have to remember that there might be people who meet me and find me who've never, and I see it every day when I'm on the food truck. I see it every day. They're asking questions, that to me are like, oh, well, common knowledge, but it's common because it's been 10 years, not common because it's on the TV screen constantly, or however you get your knowledge. So that was a huge external signal, but it was also an internal signal, because I was completely exhausted in dealing with this person, and I didn't want to feel like that when I work with people, right? So it showed me that it was time for me to level up in my pricing, as well as the things that I offered. And so I did a lot of work on my website so that the website could kind of handle a lot of the preemptive stuff. And then if you needed further conversation, you can get on a call with me, for a fee if it was for an hour. But like now, you can get on a call with me. Like if you out there have a question about adding juices and smoothies into your day-to-day, or you wanted to like buy a package or something, you could click the link and create a consultation, free 15 minutes. We could talk. If you wanted more than that, you can always do more for a fee. And we could create or talk about your needs and things like that. But that was something that came out of the frustration of dealing with this one customer. That was the one, nobody else. I had no issue like that prior to, and then until I met this young lady. And so I'm grateful really to her for helping me to get into that place. And so fast forward, I've been working with small other businesses, right? Some businesses have been wanting to carry our juices into their retail spaces. We've been working with some hotels, and just, we've been doing some things. And I realized, I said, I really want to do more business to business, right? And so although I've been doing, my business for almost 10 years, I've never really done a lot of business to business. And so there was a business, another small business, who wanted to have our drinks in their business, right? And so a week prior to the happenstance that happened, they emailed, hey, you want to place an order, boom boom boom, whatever. And so okay, did my thing. And so as I'm preparing to get the order ready so it can be delivered, they canceled like the day before that I was supposed to deliver. And I was pissed. I was heated, like on fire, heated, right? Because I had done, my part so that I could be on time. Now, mind you, I'm a solopreneur, so it's not like I have a team and, whatever the case may be. So it's just me doing the legwork or whatever, especially now in my off season. So I was really upset, but I responded to the email, and I let them know, like, this is the second time that they had done this, right? So it's the second time they had done it, and that if they decided to move forward in using our product, that they would have to pay the invoice prior to, and then we would, move forward. And so now the lead time isn't just, and that's the thing, I don't know if you know anything about lead time, you can read up on it in the show notes, but the lead time when somebody's making an order, people ask, if you're working with them, especially business to business, how much time do you need in order to get the order ready? Well, now the lead time is determined by when you pay the invoice. So once the invoice is paid, the lead time begins, not when you place the order. But the one thing that came to me in this moment was, I need some policy and procedures for me working with other businesses, because working B2B is different from having a customer base, right? And so the first thing is there will be a cancellation fee, period, because I put money out to have the order ready, and now I'm out that money. I'm gonna have to chalk that up for the second time, but you ain't gonna get me a third time, right? Because, and the reason, and I know a lot of you may come on and say, oh, you should have had, and you're absolutely right, I should have had the cancellation already set up. But as a small business owner, I understand how money runs, and I know that, in most instances, in every other business that I've been working with, they place the order, we create the order's delivered, and COD, cash on delivery, but payment on delivery, and that's worked out. Well, not for this customer. And so now that's the lesson that I had to learn. It's just that simple. It's the lesson that I had to learn, and it was an external signal that made me go, okay, I need to get my shit together and get this, my processes and procedures when I'm dealing with business to business, because I want to work with other businesses. I want to work with other businesses. I want to get my product and my goods on other people's shelves, in other people's stores, on other people's food trucks. But in order to do that, you have to present yourself in a way so that people know how they work with you, and you know how you're going to work with them, right? And so it was just funny to me that I had been so removed from that one customer who helped me to change my business in such a way so that I wouldn't be so exhausted. I was exhausted dealing with that lady. Now, I wasn't even exhausted because I didn't put in too much work, but I was pissed because I had put money out that I didn't want to put out, to get the order. So, that's the thing about signals, right? And so, and the signal can be internal and external. Sometimes there will be times where somebody may come to you and want to work with you in your business, and you just got a bad feeling. And, you might... And I know, listen, this is such a real thing for a lot of people, but especially when you're a business owner and you are fishing to eat, there are times where you will do anything for some money. You will, what they say, do something strange for a piece of change. Yeah. Even in business, you'll do it. Even though you're running your own business, you're like, I need this money, this the end of the year, rent's due, whatever. And, I'll tag the gentleman. I think his thing is Bloom and Planet, and he spoke life into this, that some things are not in alignment, right? And for me, it's a signal. What's the signal that you're getting off of this person or this business that it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to do that, right? And you may even give it a try, but be okay with stepping away from, I'm okay. No, thank you. Take your money back, whatever the case may be. And I think that it's more honorable to do that because you're being honest with yourself, right? You just being honest with, I don't want to do this. And I think that that's something that we can sometimes miss as we're moving forward, right? I remember, just when I started Juicebox in the retail space, I had taken on what everybody else thought that I should be doing, that I didn't even enjoy it. Not only was I ill prepared, I didn't prepare for the business in the retail space, but I was doing what everybody else thought I should be doing. And it made me really resent the business. And so it was so much going on inside of me, and I didn't even know how to voice it, or I didn't even know how to fix it or change it until I caused stress for myself, stress on my family. And it was just a matter of pivoting, but being big girl enough to pivot. And I wasn't at the time, but I did. And we are now on the trajectory of growing, and so just to kind of take it away from the personal, the business side of it, it happens in personal, right? So I remember years ago, an external force in my life. I was dating a guy, had been dating him on and off for years, and I was on the phone with my mother, bitching and moaning about whatever was happening at the time in the relationship, and she told me straight up, he ain't it. Y'all know that lady that's getting a lot of play telling you he don't like you? If he ain't doing he don't like you. That was my mother. Okay, that is my mother. She will tell you she was not as cold as that lady, but you got the gist. He wasn't it. He wasn't it. And it hurt my feelings, but I sat down and I thought about it, and her external really lined in with my internal, and I was able to move on. I was able to move on, right? Broke up and moved on, and now I'm happy. I was the next man right after him was the guy. You know what I mean? So anyway, so yeah, it doesn't have to just be in your business that you're having these signals. It's in every part of life that you're having, that there's signals being had. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I get on social media, and honey, these motivational people talking and or sharing parts of their life, and you go, oh my God, I'm in tears. But that's a signal, right? It's an external signal that's matching my internal signal, to let me know that I need to start making these moves. I need to move in a way, right? And if you know me and you've ever been in my purview, honey, I'll tell you to move in an instant. Leave that where it is. It ain't serving you. Boom, 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 boom. But guess what? I ain't doing the same thing. So in this season, I'm taking my own advice. In this season, if it's not something or where I want to be, I'm not coming. I'm not going. And I'm okay with that now. I had to get here though. I had to get to a place where I'm okay with living my life intentionally and paying attention to the internal and external signals that are going to allow me to live the life that I desire now, because we can change and pivot. And so in the last episode, I talked about I have been wanting to get back to podcasting for 4 years now. It's been 4 years since I did my podcast with my co-host and my friend, and we didn't do it long, but I've been wanting to get back to it, and I didn't do that. Right? And I knew that I wanted to do it. It was every day I wanted to get on and just, I don't know if I wanted to do Facebook Live or Instagram Live or whatever, but I wanted to do it. That was 4 years ago. I think last year was probably the first time that I actively wanted to do it, like for real, not just, in the last 4 years. And the only thing that a year ago that would have changed is the name. The only thing that I gained out of waiting is I have a better name now that I like, right? As opposed to the name that I had before, which was a nice name, but this is better. But that could have been edited, right? I could have started last year and just edited a new name, with the next season or whatever the case may be. So, we sit around and we'll wait on things to happen. We'll wait on somebody to let us off the hook, right, in order to do the things that we want to do, and you end up wasting just time. You just waste time, and as I considered, right, I'll use my business as the example. So I listened to Amanda Seales, and on this episode that she had on the radio, she talked about divorce, right, and she was asking people who were divorced, did you feel like a failure? And so some people were like, yeah, you feel like a failure going through that process or whatever the case may be. And then there was somebody, I don't remember who exactly. I don't know if it was like a guest that she had on or if it was just like a listener who came in, and they said that, yes, you do sometimes feel like a failure in divorce, but usually if you have not given 100% of yourself in the relationship. And now, I've never been divorced, right? But I took that and just applied it to my life. And I asked myself, like, have you given 100% to things? Or have you felt like a failure? And as a result of feeling like a failure, is it because you had not given it 100%? And the answer was yes. The answer was a easy yes. The reason that I felt like a failure was because I had not given, fill in the blank, 100%. And so, with my business, I said to myself, this is one of them. You are in an opportune place. There's things that you want to do in your business that you're not doing, right? To go to the next level, to however you want to call it. And the reason that you feel the way that you feel is because you're not giving it 100%. And so that's the season that I'm in. I'm in the season of giving it 100%, so that at least I know that All that I've done has been done. And then I can say, okay, it's not working. I don't want to do it, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And so I encourage you to do the same. Whatever it is. Again, we could take the signals, external, internal, to any part of your life. And if you want to make those changes, if you want to, adjust, pivot, whatever the word is for the day to make it better, do it. Pay attention to the signal, right? And go out and be great. Go out and show up. Go out and change lives. Whoever lives they are, it doesn't have to be everybody's life in the world. It can just be your community that you're changing. It can be your family that you're changing because you're being your best self. You're showing up 100%. And then the benefits of that are, so go out, be great, guys. And let me know though. Let me know what over the years or maybe even recently has been channeling or been channeled in your life. The signals that you're picking up on internally or externally that are changing your life. It's either changed your life already or you are in the process of changing your life because you are moving to align with the signals. So, all right, you guys, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you on the next podcast. Thanks so much.